Hi students. Students, the screen is clear. Can you see the screen? And my voice is clear or not? So now I'm going to start the session. All the students can you hear me? Yeah, please respond.
अरे काय अशी काय बसलेस तू?
Hello.
नाही 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 ना.
Hi students. In today's session, we are going to discuss about like what is Django and what are the client-side technologies, server-side technologies. Like all these, we are going to discuss. So here when we say about Django, so Django is a framework used for developing websites or web applications. So whenever you want to develop websites, then Django framework is used. So Django framework is developed in Python language. So it is having Python files or Python modules are there. So using Python files or modules, we can develop websites or web applications we can develop. And to learn Django, so those who are attending the class now, those who want to learn Django, you need to know Python, at least core Python. If you know core Python, then you can learn Django. So if you know core and advanced Python, then it is very good. You can follow the classes easily. And if you know little bit of HTML, it is good only. And if students don't know HTML, all these, so we are going to discuss all those in the class. So here Django is for 2 months. So duration project classes, the Django duration is 2 months. And within 2 months, we are going to discuss about all these chapters we are going to discuss. Like initially, we'll start with Django features. Then design patterns we are going to discuss. Like what are design patterns and what is the use of them. Amit, any disturbance is there? Like all are mute only. I think from your side network issue is there. Okay, so here in design patterns, we'll see how many types of design patterns are there. Like what is MVT, what is MVC design pattern, why we should use design patterns in Django, and here we'll see what is virtual environment, then Django installation, installing Sublime text IDE. So here we have many IDEs are there, integrated development environments. Like we can use Atom, then Komodo, then Eclipse, NetBeans, PyCharm, like many are there. So it depends on the requirement, you can use it. So in my classes, I'm using Sublime text IDE I'm using here. And here you can see multiple applications in the project, creating multiple applications. Applications means websites. And then here we are going to discuss about application level URLs we are going to discuss. Then working with HTML files, creating templates. HTML files we are going to discuss. So while working with these HTML files, we are going to use UI technologies. Like while working with HTML files, we'll see the designing of the pages. So when we work with the designing of the pages, then we have to use HTML, JavaScript, CSS, jQuery, Bootstrap, DOM, all these we are going to use. Okay, so like all these comes under UI technologies. So if a student knows a little bit of HTML, then student can follow the classes. And if some of you may not know the UI technologies, okay, and I'm going to teach all these in Django. So in Django classes, we are going to focus on designing the web pages, coding also. So while designing the web pages, we'll use UI technologies. Like for coding, we'll use a Django framework. So Django framework means we'll write Python code. Python coding, we are going to do it. Okay. And here when we are working with all these, here we are going to see HTML, HTML5 using JavaScript, CSS, jQuery, Bootstrap, document object model. Complete implementation will see, not just one, two examples. Because if the pages are there, if the pages are designed, then we can do coding part. Okay, only coding means it is not possible. So here we are going to focus on designing and coding also. Then UI technologies we are going to use here. And here we are going to use the template tags, and template tag code is there, Jinja 2 code. So this is a server side only, and this is used to display the dynamic data in the browser. Whenever you want to show dynamic information in the browser, okay, like sending data to server, accessing the data from server, or sending data to tables, accessing the data from tables. Like all these we are going to discuss with template tags and template tag code we are going to discuss here. Okay, and here when we are working with after this, we are going to discuss about models, then Django forms, model forms, advanced template features are there, like which contains template inheritance, okay, and which contains this template filters, custom filters, all this. Advanced model features are there. So we are going to discuss about model inheritance. Okay, like we'll see abstract base class inheritance, multi-table inheritance, multi-level inheritance, multiple inheritance, proxy model inheritance. All these we'll see. We'll discuss about model manager, custom manager is there. We'll see with examples. In security is there here. We'll see how to create login page, how to work with registration form, then managing the users, giving permissions, all this. So session management is there. Here we'll see how to maintain the information and how to use it in other pages in the website, other across multiple pages or across multiple sessions, all these. So in session management, you will learn how to perform, how to work with cookies, then hidden fields, URL rewriting, then session objects, all these are there. All these we are going to discuss. And here we'll discuss about class-based views, and we'll see how to perform CRUD operations, CRUD operations, create, retrieve, update, delete, like adding, viewing, editing, deleting, all these we are going to discuss. And class-based views also, we'll see how to perform CRUD operations, CRUD operations, and we'll see about middleware services, object relational mapping. So in Django, we are not going to use SQL commands. SQL commands are not used. In the place of SQL commands, we'll use ORM. ORM means again it is Python code only. So using Python code, then we are going to create tables, adding, viewing, editing, deleting records, then filtering the data. Like what all we do with SQL commands, with select command, where clause, like with order by, all this, we'll do with the Python coding. I'll tell you the reason why we are using Python code instead of SQL commands. And here Django REST API is there. REST API means representational like state transfer application program interface is there. So here we'll call it as RESTful services. So in internet, we can see two, like websites and web services. Okay. So you will be knowing like what are websites, how the websites are created, like how the web pages are created. All these you will be knowing. Okay. And web services are also there. So web services are programs and they are used in websites. Okay. So we can say RESTful services, like they will store the data, they will allow us to access the information, all this. So when you create a RESTful service or REST API, then we can use it in Django website, we can use it in Java website, .NET website, then Ruby website, anywhere it is used. So it works in different software components, it works in different devices, it works in different websites. Okay. And it works in Android, in iOS it will works, and it will works in different devices, components it will works. It works in smart TV, like smartphone, smartwatch, like a drone, like in a car, like wherever the software, wherever the data is required, wherever the information is required, then web services are used. So web services works with any application, any software, with any device, it will works. Okay, so we'll see many examples using a Django REST API, and after that we are going to do hosting also. So we'll see the live example. Whatever website we create, we are going to host it in internet server. So for hosting the website, here we are going to use so here I'm going to use github.com. I'm going to use. So github.com I'm going to use here. So using GitHub, we'll place our project in internet. We'll place our website in internet server. From GitHub, we'll take that project to pythonanywhere.com. Pythonanywhere.com. This is a hosting site. Okay. So here we'll see how to host in their server. So here the server uses Linux. So Linux is there. So we'll use Linux commands, how to deploy it, how to publish an internet server, and how to access with the common domain name, how to access with domain name, how to get it. Like all these we are going to discuss here. Okay. And here when we are working with this web hosting, after that we are going to discuss about the project also. Okay. So this is like for practice, we are discussing this, because the entire coding I'm going to do it, writing the code, integrating, like it is like business application, commercial website, like what all the concepts used in social networking sites or e-commerce websites, in any business application, all we are going to implement. So when you do this project, when you learn this project, then easily you can work on any other live or real-time projects. You can easily work. That possibility is there here. Okay. So here not just executing the project, I will explain each and every line. And here we are going to use a bootstrap grid, we'll use, and we'll use a bootstrap navigation bar, like CSS, HTML5, like all we are going to use in the project with Django coding, we are going to implement. Okay. So here I'm just telling you the chapters. Like if you want to know very clearly like what all we are going to discuss, like I can send you the course contents, or else in DurgaSoft site, in the batches schedule, when you see Django with project by Wilson, there when you click on it, you can see the course contents. So you can see what all we are going to discuss. And here, in 2 months, what all examples we are going to discuss. All the examples will be the real-time examples only. So here you can see the content here, and here you can see the content. So here you can see folders are there, files are there. So here you can see day-wise notes is there here. So whatever examples I'll give, all are the real-time examples. real-time examples we are going to discuss here. And here and this is like a project-oriented training here. Okay, so after completing the course, again no need to join for project-oriented training. Okay, because we are going to see all examples which are useful in website development only. And here this is full stack web development only, because here we are going to use Python, Django, and Django REST API, and here we are going to use UI technologies. All we are going to implement. So we can call this as Python full stack development, because here you are going to develop the websites you are going to develop. And every day I will send you the day-wise notes, and also I will send you the recorded session to your mail IDs. When you join for the course, I'm going to send. And those who join for Django classes, I'm going to send UI classes, videos, and notes also I'll provide. Because some of you may not good in UI technologies, or some may not know CSS or Bootstrap. So I'm going to provide the videos, and I'm going to provide the notes also. UI classes, notes and videos I'll provide. So here, you can see here 36 videos are there related to this UI technologies. Here you can see HTML, HTML5, JavaScript, and CSS, jQuery examples, Bootstrap, and here DOM, introduction to Angular, TypeScript, React.js. All these are there. So I'm going to send all these videos to your mail ID, and also I'm going to send the notes also. So notes I'll send here. You can see HTML notes is there, and next is JavaScript notes. You can see complete JavaScript, and next is CSS notes. This contains advanced selectors, and many examples will be there. So complete Bootstrap we are going to discuss. All the selectors, then navigation bar, grid, then all we'll see, and we are going to discuss about DOM. All these will be there. So all these notes I'm going to send it to all the students, those who join for Django classes. Okay, and here, so when we are working with this Django here, so here I'm typing djangoproject.com. So Django latest version you can see here. Here you can see the previous version is Django 4.0.6 is there. Now the recent release is like yesterday it is 4.0.6. Now this is the new release, like 4.1 is there. Okay, so what all examples we'll see for 2 months. Like for in every example we are going to see, we are going to use latest version of Django, that is 4.1 is there, and we'll see what all features are introduced in Django 4.1. Okay, all we are going to discuss. And here Python latest version also we have to use. Without Python, Django will not work. Okay, so those who have joined late to the class, like to learn the Django framework. So students should know Python first. So without Python, students cannot learn Django framework. Okay, so when I say framework, frameworks are developed in programming languages like Python, Java, C# in .NET, like that. So here we can see Django framework is there. So to learn Django framework, students should know Python, at least core Python. Okay. And here when you are working with Python here, so here you can see latest version is 3.10.6 is there. Like this is a recent release. Like what all examples we'll see in Django. It is based on Python 3.10.6 and Django 4.1 we are going to discuss. Okay. So if you are using old version of Python, you can install a new version of Python we are going to use. See in like a student is asking a question here, like will UI technologies also taught in this here, or the videos will be provided only and we have to study ourselves. See here in my classes, students, I'm going to discuss about designing and coding. Okay, so when it comes to designing, then we have to use UI technologies, not just basics. Okay, so here if a web page is designed with the required content, then we'll write the code. Okay, so here we'll focus on designing and coding. So when we say designing, then I'll tell how to use HTML in Django, HTML5 and JavaScript, CSS, jQuery, Bootstrap, DOM in Django, how it will works. All these, not just 2-3 examples, because in every example when we design the page, UI technologies we have to use. We have to use UI technologies we need to use. And why I'm providing UI technologies videos and notes is so that you can be perfect in every concept. So in every concept you can be perfect. Okay, and like when I in Django, when I say like I'm going to use this, then you will understand. So you'll understand that that is the use of that concept that we can see in Django. So for that, I'm going to provide UI technologies videos and material I'm giving, so that all can be perfect in master in UI technologies and also in Django. Okay, so you will learn many things in my class. Bootstrap complete implementation you will see, like while doing the designing in project. In project, what we discuss HTML5, CSS, Bootstrap, all these we are going to use. We are going to implement. Okay. So here I've told a few things related to like Django here, and here when we are working with Django, it is having like history is there, and also we need to know what is there in Django. Like all these we have to discuss. So here about Django, all these are there here. Okay, so now we are going to discuss about a few basics we are going to discuss. So many of you may be knowing like what are client-side technologies, what are server-side technologies, like but like one or two students may not know this. So for clarity, I'm explaining the basics here. So because if they have any one or two doubts, their doubts will be clarified. Now here while working with websites in internet, so we can see millions of websites are there in internet, like crores of websites are there in internet, and every day 1,000 sites are hosted or published in internet. Okay, and here when we work with websites, we can say client system and server system we are going to say. So we used to use that word client, server we used to say. So here client system means it will have browser. So browser means it is an application. Okay. So like if you take notepad, then calculator, browser, all these are the applications. Windows operating system applications. So here browser is used to open the websites, Internet Explorer or Google Chrome or any other browsers we can use. And the server system we are saying in internet, thousands of servers are are there in internet. Thousands of dedicated servers are connected to internet. Many companies are maintaining the servers, like in India, in China, in US, in Singapore, in Malaysia. Like in every country, we can see the servers, internet servers. So companies used to maintain. Okay. So here in the server system, in the server system, we can see web servers. Web servers we can see. So web server is a software or an application used to store and to run the websites. Web server is a software or an application used to store and to run the websites. So one server, one server system can have multiple web servers can be there. Okay. So here when we are working with Django, like when you are learning Django, when you are practicing Django, or when you are developing applications in Django, then you are going to use web server here. Okay, not only in internet servers, not only in production servers. So while practicing also, like when I will give examples, then I will use web server. So when I start the web server, then I can see Django website in the browser. And when you practice Django, when you practice examples, you have to start the web server. Then you can see websites in browser. Okay. So not only with Django, when you work with any backend technology, any server-side technology, we have to use web server. Because when we say Django, Django contains Python code. So Python code works in the server. So without running the web server, if you want to run the Python code or Python modules, so it is not possible. Okay. And here for Java websites, we are going to use a Tomcat web server. And for when we are working with Microsoft websites here, when we are working with Microsoft websites like ASP.NET or ASP.NET MEC, then in that case we are going to use IaaS, Internet Information Services here. Okay, and here you can see Apache is there here. It is used for PHP websites. Okay, so one server system can have multiple web servers, like to run like Django websites, to run Java websites, to run .NET websites, to run PHP websites. One server system can have many web servers to run different websites developed in different languages, programming languages, or else in different technologies. Okay, and here when we say websites here, like you all know, like nowadays all knows websites. So website will call it as web application. Website is also an application. Web application will say. So website can have static pages. Website can have dynamic pages, or websites can have both static and dynamic pages. Okay. So here when we say about static pages, HTML pages or HTML files. Okay, HTML pages are files only. So HTML pages or HTML files are called as static pages, or we can call them as read-only pages, we can say. Okay, and here when we are working with static pages, we are going to use UI technologies, or we can say client-side or front-end technologies. Client-side technologies or front-end technologies works in browser. So browser can understand all the UI technologies. Okay, so while creating the static pages or HTML pages or HTML, so they are used to display the same information to all the users accessing the website. Okay, so while working with static or HTML pages, it is used to show same information to all the users accessing the website. Okay, like news or images or advertisements or any like panels, any contents, then we can use. Like examples are home page or index page, like first page, then about us, contact us. Okay, then photo gallery, all like HTML pages or static pages means many examples will be there. Like for example, if you open college website, in that college website, many static pages will be there, HTML pages, which will show information about the uh, board of directors and about the college, then examination fees, like everything will be in the static pages only. Okay, and sitemap, like displaying information about the site, like what content is there, all these. Okay, so in that case, HTML pages or static pages are used. So HTML pages are controlled or managed by the browser. So browser can manage static pages or HTML pages. So managing means you can move from one page to another page in the website. Okay, if the website is having like 40-50 pages, if all are static pages, if all are HTML pages, you can move from one page to another page. Browser can manage, browser can handle. Okay, and here coming to this dynamic pages here. So dynamic pages use is so they are used to display different information from user to user. So it won't be the same information to all the users accessing the website. Okay. So dynamic pages are controlled or managed by the web server in the server system. Web server in the server system. So dynamic pages examples are login page, registration page, then change password, password recovery, then contact details, feedback details, like when you want to give all this. Then dynamic pages are used. Okay, so dynamic pages, what they'll do is they'll send data to server, accessing the data from the server, and sending the data to database tables, and accessing the data from database tables. All these we can do with dynamic pages. So to work with the dynamic pages or dynamic websites, then here we have a backend or server side technologies. Backend and server side technologies are there. Okay, which works in server, web server, which works in web server. So here you can see ASP, PHP, JSP, servlets, ASP.NET, ASP.NET MVC, Django. So here you can see ASP is there, active server pages. So it is from Microsoft. It is very popular in 1990s. So at the time it is very popular, and PHP also 10 years back it is very popular. Okay, so but in the internet we can see some websites are in ASP and many websites are in PHP also. Okay, and JSP servlets is there, Java server pages, servlets. These two are related to this Java. ASP.NET, ASP.NET MVC related to Microsoft. Django is Python based. And here Ruby is there, Node.js is there. All these are the backend or server side technologies. Okay. So when many backend or server side technologies are there, like students may have doubt, like why we should learn Django, like which companies are working on Python language and Django framework, like all these doubts students may have, because Java, .NET are very popular from many years. Okay, but here Django framework is completely different from other backend or server side technologies. Okay, so here when you see in internet here, so here if I give like this, top 15 websites in Python language, Django framework. Okay, so here you can see this. So it will show here, like what are the popular sites here. You can see Netflix is there, Google, YouTube, Instagram, then Uber, Pinterest. Dropbox, Quora, Spotify, Reddit, Yahoo, Instacart, Discuss, SurveyMonkey, Bitly, all these are there. So all these are in Python and Django framework here. Here you can see 25 most popular Python and Django sites here. Python and Django, Python language, Django framework. So here you can see YouTube is there, Dropbox, Google and Uber is there, Lyft is there, Facebook, Netflix, Quora, then Instagram, Spotify, Reddit is there, Yahoo Maps, Hipmunk, and Pinterest, Onion, Discuss, Washington Post, NASA, Bitbucket, Reddit gives Prezi, Pitchfork, all these are there. All these are with Python and Django. And here if I'm giving like this. So if I say like this, so Google written in, like in which language? If you want to see. So here you can see Python, C, C++, like this it is showing here. And here you can see in Wikipedia, you can check. So it will show the list here. Here you can see Google using Python here. Facebook, here you can see Python is there. YouTube, Python is there. And Yahoo, PHP is there. And here you can see PHP, like what we saw now. Wikipedia in PHP here. So it will show what front end they have used, what back end they have used, the server side, and what database they have used. So MariaDB, you can see big table. Then here Postgres is there, MongoDB is there, MySQL is there. Like you can see the list here in Wikipedia. You can check the list here. The list you can see here. Okay, so some students may have doubt. So like if I learn Django, is there any use? Will I get job? Like you saw, no, like in websites, in Google you saw, in Wikipedia you saw, like with Python and Django, how many websites are developed. All these you have seen. Okay, so here using Django, I will tell you the differences. Like what is the difference between Python, what is the difference between other backend technologies and Django. All these we are going to discuss. Okay, and here when we are working with static pages and dynamic pages, so students in our classes, we are going to discuss about static pages and dynamic pages. Like static pages means we are going to do the designing. So we are going to use UI technologies we are going to use. So dynamic pages means along with UI technologies, we have to use this template tags. Template tag coding is there. Template tag code, like it is Python code only. So that we need to use here. Okay. So I'll tell you more clearly about what is template tag, what is template tag code. All these we are going to discuss. So here we'll see the other differences between static and dynamic pages. So when you are working with websites in internet, so here you are going to use like HTTP or HTTPS protocol. Like for example, if I say like this, if I type durgasoft.com, it is working with HTTP protocol. Okay, and here you can see it is showing not secure. Not secure is there. And if I use gmail.com, so it is running with HTTPS. HTTPS, and here you can see log symbol is there here. Log symbol is there here. Log symbol is existing. Okay, so you can see some websites are running with HTTP, some websites are running with HTTPS. They are running. So when we say HTTP, it is called as Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and S means we'll call as secured. So in a network, we can see many protocols are being used, like FTP, File Transfer Protocol, and we'll see TCP, Transmission Control Protocol, UDP, User Datagram Protocol. Like all these are there. All these are existing. Okay. So here, like when we take HTTP, it is very old protocol, and since 40 years we are using this HTTP protocol in network. Okay, so here HTTP means security will be there, but we have to write programs to secure the information. And HTTPS means inbuilt security will be there to secure the data. To secure the information, HTTPS will be there. So in Django, we are going to discuss how to run websites with HTTP and HTTPS. So while hosting the websites, or while publishing the websites, while deploying the websites, I will tell how to run website with HTTP or HTTPS protocol that we can handle, we can manage. Okay, so here when we say about HTTP or HTTPS, they are called as stateless protocols. So they cannot remember the values given in the pages in the website, and they cannot remember the pages opened in the website. So whatever information we are giving in web pages, or whatever pages we are opening in the website, HTTP or HTTPS, they cannot maintain the data. They cannot store data, or they cannot remember the pages opened in the website, URLs of the pages, addresses of the pages. So when we do this, okay, like then HTTP or HTTPS, they cannot maintain history. We know what is history, how to delete history in browser, we know. So maintaining history is a different mechanism. It is a different technique that we are going to use it. Okay. So here, when we are working with HTTP or HTTPS, they are communication protocols used to transfer the data in network. So we are not using to store the information. For storing information, we are not using. Okay. So to store information, here we have different concepts. In HTML5 web storage is there. Web storage. Okay, like a local storage, session storage will say. In JavaScript, cookies are there. JavaScript. So by using web storage in HTML5, by using JavaScript cookies in JavaScript, we can store web pages values in browser or else in client system, and we can use across pages in the website, or we can use across multiple requests that we send to server, or we can use in multiple sessions also. Okay, session means the time spent for browsing the website. Whatever time we spend for browsing the site, from opening the website to till closing the site, or from login to logout, the duration will call it as a session here. Okay, so if you want to maintain the data in a client system or else in browser, and if you want to use it, okay, then in that case, with HTML5 and JavaScript, we can store the data, but it is not safe. Okay, and we can store limited data in a browser or else in the client system, and accessing the data is slow. Okay, so while working with the dynamic pages, when we are working with dynamic pages, we can store the data in the server using Django or other backend or server side technologies we can do. So using Django or other backend technologies, we can store information in the server. If the data is stored in the server, then it is safe, it is secured. Okay, so whenever we are working with the confidential data or sensitive data like passwords, account number, credit card number, PIN number, like all these. When we are working with all these, then the information will be safe in the server, and we can secure the data from hackers, middleman attacks, data tampering. All these we can avoid. And when we store the data in the server, we can store large amount of data. Accessing the data is also fast. Then in that case, instead of storing data in browser, we can store data in the server using dynamic pages or using backend or server side technologies. We can do that. Okay. So in the examples, we'll see how to store the data, how to access it, how to use the data across pages in the website, across multiple requests that we are sending it to the server, across multiple sessions. All these we are going to discuss. Okay. So here when we are working with here these pages here I'm telling about static page, dynamic page. So using dynamic pages, what we are doing, we are sending data to server, accessing the data from server, and we'll send data to the database tables to SQLite or MySQL or SQL Server or Oracle, accessing. Okay. And here when we are working with static and dynamic pages in Django, the page or file extension is same only. Page or file extension is same. Okay, so .html, static page or dynamic page. In I'm telling in Django, I'm telling. Okay, so when we are working with other backend or server side technologies, dynamic pages extension will be different. Page extension, file extension, like .asp, .php, .jsp, .aspx, like this. Okay, so here if I'm using this website here, DURGASOFT site, so here you can see the pages here, like batches list is there now here. So here you can see this Django 3rd August. So here it will show like what all we are going to discuss, course contents, all these are there here. Okay. And here you can see Django Wilson Online 2.asp. So page or file extension is what? ASP. So this website is developed using ASP here. We can identify like this. We can check like this. Okay. So here, when we are working with other backend technologies, server side technologies, page extension will change here. Like a .asp, .php, .jsp, .aspx, like this. But in Django, static page, dynamic page extension is same only. But how can we identify is static page contains UI technologies. So dynamic page contains, along with UI technologies, it contains template tags. This one, it contains template tag code. Okay. So here template tags means here you can see two braces are there, two curly braces, two pairs. So key is there. When we use key, we can get the value. Like in Python, we'll use in Python, we'll use a dictionary. So in dictionary, we'll store values in key value pair. Variable is given. Okay. So when we give variable, we'll get value. We can use key, we'll get value, or we use variable, we'll get value. Template tag coding is there. We'll call it as Jinja 2. It is a new language used to work with the dynamic data. So here you can see brackets, percentage symbol is there. Here we'll write statements to access folder in a HTML file or files in HTML file, or we'll write if condition for loop to access the data from the table. So all these we are going to do it. So using template tags, template tag coding, we'll see many examples, because the Django is for dynamic data only. So to work with dynamic pages, to work with dynamic data, we are using Django. So we'll see many examples using all this. Okay. And here, when we are working with this Django here, when students are learning Django, then like my laptop or your system will works as all in one. Okay, it will work as client as well as server, both. because yeah, in our system or in your system, Python, Django, okay, like web server. When we install Django, web server will get, okay. So web server, browser, all these will be there. So our system, like my laptop, when I'm giving examples, it will works as a development system, because we are going to develop websites. Okay. After developing the websites, like while developing websites, we'll use web server, we'll run the web server, and we are going to open the websites in the browser. Okay. So here, when we publish the website in internet server, production server, then we can see production server also, like development server, production server, web server, browser, all these will be there. So our systems will work as all in one, because we are developing the websites, we are running the websites with web server, we are opening the websites in browser, all these we are doing. But when it comes to real time, like in IT companies, development servers will be there, where the websites are developed. From there, the websites are published or hosted in internet servers, production server. So once if they are installed in published or deployed in production servers, then users can access, end users can access the websites. Okay. So while practicing, while developing websites, our system will work as all-in-one, like client, server, all these will say. Okay. So students, that's all for today. Okay. So here I've explained a lot of things. Like in demos, I'll be explaining all these, like for 1 to 3 days like this. And after that, when I start installation and when I start examples, students can interact with me. So interaction will be there. Students can interact with me, and they can ask the doubts, they can clarify the doubts. And at the time of installation, if any issues are there, you can talk while ask while class is going on. And when you are practicing, if any doubts are there, you can send a email. I will take email and I'll give the response, or we can discuss about that issue in the class. Okay. And I'll give you assignments from every chapter, and I will be knowing like how many are practicing, how many are working on the examples, how many are practicing. So when I will give assignments, I'll come to know whether students are attending regularly or not. All these will be there. Okay. So any doubts, students, anything to ask, you can talk to me. If you have any doubt, you can ask me now. Like if you have any doubts, you can clarify. So here I have for Django, I have handled many batches. So my examples, what all examples I'll give, everything will be very clear. Notes will be very clear. And by seeing the notes, you can easily practice the examples. Okay. So here, if you see the notes, whatever I send, like it will be like this. So day-wise notes you can see. So this will show like what files to create, what code to write, like this. All can practice. All can practice the examples. I'll show you another file here. So here you can see what files to create, what code to write. So at the end, the project is there. At the end, the project also is there. I will write the code. Okay. So many pages will be there, integrating the pages, integrating the code, and creating the tables in the database. What all you will learn here, like security, session management, all we are going to implement in the project. Okay. So students, if you are interested, please talk to online team regarding the fees. About the course contents and all, I can provide. I can give you like what all we are going to discuss. Okay. So regarding fees and all, you please talk to them. And once if you register for the course, then I will send you the recorded sessions, notes, UI technologies, videos and notes also I will send. Okay. Mail ID online team will provide, because when students provides the when they pay the fees, then they will send mail IDs to me. Now directly I should not interact. Recorded sessions all, when they give me mail ID, then I will send it to your email ID. Okay. Yeah, recorded videos I'll provide. For Django I'm providing. Every class is recorded, I will send. And UI classes videos are there. 35 videos are there. Notes also is there. UI classes notes. I will send all. And as I said, we are going to discuss about designing and coding. You will use UI technologies, Django coding, everything is used. Okay. Okay, students, I'm stopping now. And tomorrow we'll continue with the other basics. Tomorrow we'll see what is Django history, what are the top features in Django which are not in other backend technologies. Other things we are going to see in tomorrow's session. Okay.